today we're going to reflect on SD 46.10, the Dhamma Katika Sutta, the discourse on Dhamma Speaker, A4.139, and this sutta is also found in the Pugala Panyati, PUG 4.7. The theme of this sutta is the four kinds of Dhamma speakers and their respective audiences. Now, if we look at this book or this passage we have before us, it is a translation. The translation work is, in a sense, very difficult because you need to master at least the language you are using to translate, namely English. And one of my difficulties is English is not really my mother tongue, although it is my first language. I was taught my whole education was in English, and then we also learned Malay, and I was educated in Thailand, to study all the Dhamma exams, and I was told that the study that I've done of the Thai language and the Dhamma exams I passed in the ecclesiastical syllabus called the Nattam series qualify me up to Prathom Pok, that is the primary six of the Thai system. Of course, knowing a language alone, mastering a language alone is not enough. Ideally you should also be well versed in the literature of the language. You understand the figures of speech and the wealth of the language in different ways, and you should be able to express this language, express teachings, express the text that you're translating truthfully and beautifully. Very often we forget the second aspect. Of course, both these two aspects are in themselves very difficult, so the skill of a translator varies. Another important point is no translator, even the best, is always 100% accurate or correct. Even if he thinks he is, there will be those who disagree. That's the nature of translation. And even the original text, you find people can read Pali, for example. They still may not agree in its interpretation. So we have lots of different aspects here, different configurations and things that constitute Buddhist studies. However, even more difficult than the life of a translator would be that of a lexicographer, someone who writes or who prepares dictionaries. The scholars who write dictionaries often joke among themselves that they have no lives, because they spend their best time of the day looking at words, looking at the definitions, sorting them out, and typing them out, and so on and so forth. And then we have this beautiful book or sets of books. Imagine how much time has been put into these books, and very often we forget that. I think it was Erasmus, Desiderius Erasmus, the Dutch philosopher, who said that something like, when you read this book, you must remember how many hours have been put into it. In other words, a good book is so much of a person's life has been put into it, especially books which are worthwhile reading, great literature, great religious writing, and so on. Having said that, when we look at this sutta, which is a very short sutta, hardly half a page in fact, of A4, sometimes a simple word can cause much discussion. In this sutta is very short, it's just like 6 paragraphs, short paragraphs. One of the key words here is sahita. Okay. Atta rather. Atta, which is sometimes quite close to Sahita. Atta can be has different meanings. Of course, one meaning is meaning. Atta means meaning. Another meaning is purpose. Another meaning is benefit. Meaning, purpose, benefit. We find they kind of overlap each other. So in Pali, in other words, this one word atta has got this, it's polysemic, it's got this various meanings which make it rich. But in English, you have to decide which meaning is applicable here. Are all the meanings, or which of the meanings are applicable here? So this is where most of the other translators of this sutta have rendered atta as meaningful or something that effect or relevant and so on. But if you look at this sutta, we will see that from the context, it's better to translate this word atta or sahita as beneficial, as we will see in a moment. Okay, so sahita will be with benefit. Hita here, hita is another tricky word which scholars sometimes have to think about. Hita means good, benefit. So sahita, of course, would mean beneficial, and asahita would mean unbeneficial. So this sutta, the theme is about 4 kinds of Dhamma speakers, and also 4 kinds of audiences. And the way this Dhamma speaker speaks also reflects himself as well as the audience. So let's look at how the sutta enrich our understanding of the Dhamma here. The sutta starts off straight away by the Buddha saying, Chattaro me bhikkhave dhamma katika, meaning bhikshus, there are these 4 kinds of Dhamma speakers, Dhamma katika. Katame chattaro. What are the 4? Or you can simply say what for. Okay? There's the invisible verb there. Okay. Then the Buddha goes on. Idda bhikkhave ekaccho dhamma katiko. Here, bhikshus, a certain Dhamma speaker, apancha bhasati, says little, asahitancha, but what is unbeneficial. Parisa chasa na kusala hoti sahita saitasa. And his congregation is unskilled in, then you brackets, distinguishing what is beneficial and what is not. After comparing different translations and also looking at the Pali again, I've decided after quite a number of years to revise this translation. The first time that I started with this translation was in 2008. I think we can fine-tune it a bit, especially the last line. His congregation is unskilled in, you can kind of put brackets there distinguishing what is beneficial and what is not. In Pali, when we read parisa chasa na kusala hoti sahita sahitasa, saitasa, what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. So if you just translate the Pali literally, it would be his congregation is unskilled in what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. It's too broad here, right? So in the context of this situation here, the audience listening to the Dhamma speaker, I'm sure the idea is that the audience is also discerning, in other words. So we add the word distinguish. In other words, the audience is able to know what's right, what's wrong. Because the closing line of the verse says, Eva rupo bhikkhave dhamma katiko eva rupaya parisaya dhamma katiko tveva sangham gacchati. Bhikshu, such a Dhamma speaker is regarded as a Dhamma speaker only by such a congregation or assembly. Okay, now here eva rupa means such. You can translate as such a speaker. But you notice there are two eva rupa here. So the sentence starts with eva rupo, and then the second one eva rupaya. So I feel that we can, because eva rupa can also translate as suitable. So we can say that Bhikshu, such a Dhamma speaker is regarded as suitable only for such a congregation, something like that. So you have to understand, in other words, this Dhamma speaker, he says little, and what little he says also not beneficial, not useful. And the audience is unable to distinguish good from bad, beneficial from what is not. So, but well, of course, according to the sutta, I suppose we can say the audience appreciate this speaker. Maybe it's a VIP speaker, and so the audience kind of is very popular. So the audience like him, even though it doesn't really say something useful. So we would say that only to this group he is a Dhamma speaker. So that's the idea. Is much clearer if we understand this passage in this way. So what is the Buddha trying to tell us here? What is the sutta trying to tell us here? The sutta is saying, when you present the Dharma, sometimes the audience may appreciate it, may think that, wow, it's a great speaker, but there's very little essence, or no essence at all. It's just maybe jokes or some personal remarks, and this speaker is popular, and nobody really bothers about what he's talking, but they just like looking at him maybe, or they just like the fact that he's there, he's charismatic and so on, and nothing's really learned. It's almost like a Brahmanical darshana, if you like, Hindu darshana, where you just see this wonderful guru who says things nobody understands. Wow, he's a profound guru, and because of that, people worship him, right? So in other words, it's a cult situation. It can, not just only, this can describe a cult guru also. So this is one point we must bear in mind. And then the second kind of speaker. So notice here, the word used is Dhamma speaker, Dhamma katika. So here Dhamma is used in the broad sense of any kind of teaching, including what is true in the Buddhist sense. Okay, then the second one says, second kind of teacher. Ida panna bhikkhave ekkacho dhamma katiko apancha bhasati saitancha. Okay, apancha bhasati means it says little, saitancha, but what is beneficial. Parisa chasa kusala hotis sahita saitasa. Okay, in this case, the congregation is skilled in distinguishing what is beneficial and what is not, right? In fact, in this particular paragraph, even though we do not put the parenthetical distinguishing, it still makes sense. His congregation is skilled in what is beneficial and what is not. So here we find this Dhamma speaker speaks little, but it's beneficial, and the audience also is skillful enough to distinguish between what is good, what is not good, what is beneficial, what is not. Okay, so here of course we have a much better situation. Then the third kind of teacher, Ita Pana Bhikkhave Ekacho Dhamma Katiko Bahun Cha Vasati. He speaks much, asahitancha, but what is not beneficial. Parisa chassa na kusala hoti sahitassa sahitassa. And the congregation is not skillful in what is beneficial, what is not. Notice here where the speaker is unskillful, the audience also is unskillful. So here we have another even more serious cult situation where the speaker speaks a lot, but it is not beneficial. And the audience also is not skilled in distinguishing what is beneficial, what is not. So here we have even a more serious cult situation, if you like. But this happens even in the normal Buddhist Sunday talk or any kind of Buddhist talk. You may have a speaker, normally the speaker would talk a lot, and it's of little essence or not beneficial, and the audience is none the wiser. Anyway, sometimes the audience just like the speakers. It doesn't really matter what the speaker says. They're just happy to be there, like listening to going to a pop group, what you call some kind of musical show, if you like. So 1 and 3 are negative situations. Now then you have the fourth one, the last group. Idapana Bhikkhave Ekacho Dhamma Katiko Bahuncha Basati. He speaks much. The Dhamma speaker speaks much. Sahitancha, and it is also beneficial. Notice, it's better to use the word beneficial here rather than meaningful. Okay? In fact, coming to think of it, I don't see how we can ever translate Sahita as meaningful. Rather, instead, it's better to simply translate as beneficial, with benefit. Sahita. Okay. Parisa Chassa and his audience or his congregation. Kusala Hoti is skillful or is skilled. Sahitassa in what is beneficial, what is not. So here you have both speaker and audience are wise. This is wonderful to have such an audience. Eva rupo bhikkhave dhammakatiko eva rupaya parisaya dhammakatiko tveva sangham gatati. Bhikshu, such a Dhamma speaker is regarded as a Dhamma speaker only by such an audience. Or we can say, another way of translating it is regarded as a suitable Dhamma speaker for such an audience. So, because the parisaya can also be translated for the congregation, for the audience, for the gathering, and so on. So the sutta then closes. Ime ko bhikkhave chattaro dhamma katiko ti. These bhikshus are the 4 kinds of Dhamma speakers. So there you have 4 kinds of Dhamma speakers or Dhamma talk, if you like. The first, the speaker speaks little, but not useful. The audience is not able to distinguish good from bad. This is the first group, right? This is a kind of, I say, a foolish cult group. Then the third one is where you have this person who speaks a lot, but is unbeneficial, but the audience is not able to distinguish between good and bad. So this is a serious, kind of really bad cult group, or really a group where the audience are really new, and really even the speaker also is new. And then you have situation number 2, where the Dharma speaker speaks little but useful, and the audience able to distinguish right from wrong, good from bad. This can be, for example, in a retreat situation, a meditation retreat, where teachers usually will not talk very long. They will just give just enough instruction to inspire the meditators to meditate. So just says a little bit, it's beneficial, and the audience are themselves very wise in discerning right from wrong, keeping to the right and the wholesome. And then the last one is a very wonderful situation where we learn the Dharma. You have the speaker who is wise, knowledgeable. He speaks a lot, and he speaks what is beneficial, and the audience themselves are skillful and wise and distinguishes between what is beneficial, what is not. So, what does all this tell us? That if we are Dharma speakers, we have to really prepare well. Prepare ourselves well with the Dharma by educating ourselves in the Buddha's teaching, understanding the suttas well, loving the suttas, and presenting the suttas like we're presenting something beautiful and precious to the audience, and something we ourselves live by. And the audience not only hear that, they can see that we are happy presenting this Dharma, that we are living this Dharma. We're not just talking Dharma, we're not just a scholar saying, here you are, I'm presenting this teaching, but I'm not a Buddhist. It's not like that. I am a Buddhist, I do practice this teaching, I do experience the joy of this teaching, and here I am sharing it with you. That's the way it should be. Then the audience themselves study the suttas. When they hear the suttas, they're so happy. They hear again the same sutta many times over, but each time they go a little deeper. Each time they're able to connect more teachings together. So it's not like reading newspapers. You say, oh, I heard that sutta before, I don't want to hear it again. It's not like that. Suttas don't work like that. Suttas are like great works of music. You keep listening to them. It's so beautiful, so healing. They're like great works of art. You keep on looking at them. It's so joyful, so inspiring. You just keep on looking deep in meditation. You let go of your senses, except the sense of sight in the case of painting, the sense of sound in the case of music, and just the mind in the case of the Dharma, when you reflect on the Dharma. So this is a living experience of the Dharma. So the teacher is well prepared and learned and experienced in the Dharma. The audience is well prepared and learned, living the Dharma. So both sides, they're like two mirrors looking at each other. You have this timelessness of the Dharma in between. So let us truly love and enjoy the Dharma, reflecting on this sutta. Let us close with a short reflection. Studying the Dharma is always a joyful thing. Teaching the Dharma is also a very joyful thing. Listening to the Dharma too is a very joyful thing. This sense of joy with the Dharma enriches our lives and inspires us further on this path to awakening. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma, with the power of this wonderful goodness of the Buddha's teaching. May we be blessed with courage and wisdom to aspire at least to attain stream winning in this life itself. By this goodness of the three jewels, let us radiate our loving kindness to all the beings here, to all the people here. May they all be well and happy. To all those who have been kind and supported us, may they be well and happy too. To our families and loved ones, may they be well and happy and come close to the Dharma and see the Buddha's teaching for themselves. And also, may all those who still have yet to know the Dharma and not touched by Dharma, may they see the Dharma in this life itself, that they will be truly happy. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.